What we've seen in Australia now is very consistent house price inflation over many decades. So in other words, the price of housing is increasing over and above the rate of inflation. So it's very special in that sense, and everyone needs it.
10, 11 years ago when I first started selling in this area here, with 140,000 you can buy a house, and now you can't buy that same house for under 620.
Melbourne's growing population and high demand for dwellings has left home buyers bearing the cost of a competitive market.
In 2009, the National Housing Supply Council suggested Victoria had a shortage of 22,700 homes, which is a lot, which is why prices have gone up so much.
44 Melbourne suburbs currently have an average price of $1 million. And 400 more suburbs are expected to reach seven figures in the next 20 years. This means that even suburbs on the city fringe, such as Diggers Rest and Noble Park, will be out of reach for low and middle income earners. And it's not only prices that are growing. The shortage of affordable housing in and around Melbourne is pushing urban boundaries.
The answer to affordability and supply is just not more homes on the city's fringe. That's part of the equation. But the other part is, medium and high-rise developments around existing town centres. I mean, students at universities and TAFEs, don't want to travel 20 kilometres to get to their class.
I would argue that continued detached, low-density land development and housing development on the fringe is not the way to go, because the infrastructure is simply not there to support those people living in those in those locations.
For renters, the story isn't much different.
As a result, house prices increased faster in the second half of the decade than the first. The rental vacancy rate was half as much. Rents went up twice as much.
According to Professor Tony Dalton, the rental situation could be improved.
Owner-occupied housing, for instance, is exempt from capital gains tax. This is an anomaly within the Australian taxation system, and what it does is encourage over-investment in housing by people who are well off. They are simply not interested in renting to low and moderate income households. They can't afford the housing.
The federal government's solution is the National Rental Affordability Scheme, or NRAS, which aims to build 50,000 dwellings for people from low socio-economic backgrounds.
NRAS took some time to get started. There's no doubt it took a while for investors and the state governments and local councils to actually understand its operation and get investors interested, but now it's starting to take off. And we're starting to see improvements in the way it operates.
At the state level, the Victorian government have 250 hectares earmarked for high-density redevelopment here at Fisherman's Bend. They're hoping this will ease the pressure.
We're in the process of reforming that precinct structure plan situation so that we can get land to market quicker, and also so that we can get apartment complexes built at a quicker rate than what is currently taking to be approved.
But some wonder how much governments can achieve.
Every government that we've had in Victoria in the last 20 years has really had the same plan for Melbourne, which is, to go out a bit and to go up a bit. And each time a new government comes in, they trash the last government's vision, but the core of it is really about the same. So, they've said they're committed to improving affordability by increasing supply, and now comes a challenge for them to do it.
Emma Buckley-Lennox, Newsline.